Welcome to Bad Movie Brothers. I'm Eric.
I'm Chad.
And tonight we watched Night of the Warrior.
Lorenzo Lamas.
Now, the name of this show is Bad Movie Brothers.
Uh-huh.
So our raison d'etre is bad movies.
Correct.
For my money, this might be the worst movie we've watched.
Oh. You know what? You don't remember the really bad ones. You remember the okay ones.
Sure,
the most.
sure. True.
So I'd really have to go back and look, but this is not good.
This one hurt.
Yeah. You know what, man? This one was long.
It was so long.
I really tried to stay with it without speeding it up.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
I'll give the viewers a peek behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
The way this all works is that first I find a movie, and then I'll watch like the first 20 or 30 minutes of it to see if it's, gonna be something you can talk about. And 20 or 30 minutes into this thing, it was like, oh, this is crazy great.
Golden.
But then almost at that exact mark, the movie just dies for like an hour and 15 minutes.
But it's got Lorenzo Lamas.
It does have the Renegade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is awful, man. This is bad.
Well, and the plot, such as it is Lorenzo. It's basically Roadhouse.
Hey, don't get to the plot without talking about those trailers.
Also available from Vidmark Entertainment.
You are 100% right. I had that. Don't worry. The first note I have is that these were the best trailers.
Why aren't we watching these movies?
I particularly want to see Dolly Dearest.
But this is where the fairy tale ends and the nightmare begins.
Dolly?
Oh, you don't want to see the other one?
The middle one, the name of which I think would be inappropriate to say.
Correct.
The middle trailer, which is a movie about ladies of the night.
Right. All taking place during the day, by the way.
Right. But let me tell you something. I think I can say to the audience and still keep it family friendly that the title of this movie begins with a W. And if you care to look up the trailer, it is a very aggressive and alarming trailer.
Oh, my.
Do you think what I do is wrong?
It's very upsetting.
Giggity, giggity.
And then to be honest with you, I have written down that the third movie was a vampire movie called Son of Darkness, but I don't really remember that trailer.
Nope, just Dolly Dearest was my favorite.
Oh, man, Dolly Dearest. That is one I might need to look for.
Dolly Dearest. Everything else is just child's play.
Pretty good.
But I feel like I've seen that movie recently.
Oh, yeah.
Not that exact one, but that
kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That it seems like if you took an Annabelle movie,
right,
and then you mushed it together with what was that called? Was it called like The Orphan or something? That one, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I got you.
With the little Russian girl that gets like adopted by people.
Right.
I think you mush those two together and you've got Dolly Dearest.
Mush them up.
A trailer which I felt like gave away the
was
whole movie.
We did watch Dolly Dearest, and then we watched Night of the Warrior, which you can get into the plot now.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. It's approved?
Yep.
Okay.
Stamped.
So this movie is basically Roadhouse, but it's not fun. The plot, such as it is, revolves around Lorenzo Lamas, who plays a character. Because when you have an actor as marvelously named as Lorenzo Lamas, the character you have him playing is Mitch.
Ugh. Mitch what? Mitch what? Okay.
Mitch is involved in an underground fighting scenario, which is, of course, a big favorite of us here at Bad Movie Brothers.
Yeah, love the other one, whatever that was called.
Yeah,
Thunderdog or whatever was.
Thunderground.
You almost had it.
And pretty much Lorenzo doesn't want to fight anymore, and the whole movie is his, I don't know, illegal fight manager trying to convince him to come back into fighting through increasingly illegal coercion.
2 questions off the bat.
Okay.
The first, not as important as the second. The first being his Fight Club manager guy. Is he not also in the Disorderlies?
Okay, so first, his manager guy is phenomenal looking.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got like bleach blonde hair and then like cut real close, and then he's wearing like, I don't know, like flock of seagulls type outfits.
Last fight, Lynch. All debts are paid. No more. I'm through fighting for you.
Whatever you say, Miles. Take care of that eye.
And I don't know if he was in Disorderlies.
My money's on that he is.
He did, however, play Philo in UHF. And according to my notes, much more surprising, he continues to play Luke on General Hospital.
Wow.
IMDb, I think, had him credited with 900 some episodes of General Hospital.
Oof.
Yeah. And I remember vaguely, and we'll have to check with our mom for validation on this. I feel like the wedding of Luke and Laura was a big deal.
Yeah, oh yes, oh yes.
And this movie came out in that sort of a ballpark. So clearly Luke thought this movie was going to be a real...
Okay, second question,
Yeah.
more important.
Okay.
Where would you rate his fighting skills?
Sub Van Damme.
Sub Thunderground, in my opinion.
I don't know. The couple of times they fought, and here's the big disappointment of this movie, folks. There is a fight at the beginning.
Yep.
And there is a fight at the end.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, nothing happens in between.
A lot of pictures of homeless people.
Oh, man. But, yeah, so when they fought, I thought it was fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, maybe I was so addled and bored by the rest of the movie. Because I will say, early on in the climactic fight, he's getting ready to fight the completely nameless other guy,
Right.
who is never a factor in the movie. Nope. And he gives him these little like baby punches a couple of times. That I did think were pretty sad.
Some jabs, yeah. It was real bad.
Yeah, but there were some good face kicks.
Okay.
You know, I mean, this is why it's Lorenzo Lamas.
It's no Quest.
Oh God, here we go again.
It's a great movie.
It is not a great movie.
I don't care what you say.
I say it's not a great movie. It's no Bloodsport.
Yeah, of course not. Different movies.
Same movie.
Okay, yeah, okay. Continue, go ahead, whatever.
I had nothing to continue with.
Mortal Kombat! You didn't say that to yourself?
I did not, but I can see where I should have.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong.
Good.
Yeah, ugh.
And by the way,
Yeah.
and you're in between the fights, he also owns the craziest bar in existence.
Let's get right into this.
Let's do it.
Part of why I would liken this movie to Roadhouse, and certainly, is he owns this club.
Right.
And apparently, he fought to get money to buy the club.
Yep.
And now now that he has the club paid off, he sees the club as his opportunity to get out of fighting.
You look like white trash.
I don't think it's fair to call it anything because it defies description.
It is freaking crazy.
Yeah, it is a dance club of some sort.
It's what was the movie that we watched The Maid movie, when all of a sudden she was at a super club, that's the club she was at.
Oh, when she's like at that like empty pool party.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real Mr. Robot scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the club.
Well, and that's like I have this written down as being a real Robert Palmer / Blade Runner affair.
Hell yeah.
Because I can't describe. It is a club where people go to watch other people dance to the most insane music you've ever heard.
Sometimes they don't dance. Sometimes they swing on a swing or do Tai Chi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lady straight up like breaks a board or a cinder block at some point on stage, and they're all wearing like kabuki makeup like Daryl Hannah in Blade Runner.
Yeah. Oh, my.
Who is this for?
Where is this at?
Why does it how does he see this as a viable business model for anything? And how did he come up with the idea?
Don't know. It's cool though.
Is it?
Some of it.
My favorite part at the club is the aforementioned inner tube lady. Because there is a lady, who's dressed up like it's the apocalypse.
Yep.
And she's dancing inside of like 3 or 4 inner tubes. And she's taken the inner tubes off, and she just chucks one of them into the crowd.
Yep.
Some guy really got hurt.
Now, you said something interesting there.
Okay, yeah.
That she's dressed like it's the apocalypse.
Oh, okay. I think I see where this is headed.
What time frame are we in?
Excellent question. I mean, we're led to believe the late 80s, early 90s. But if you told me that all of this was taking place in the same world as Demolition Man, I'd straight up believe it.
Or like the Fifth Element. This is the ground level of the Fifth Element.
Sure. If the only thing that makes that flies in the face of that is they do drive to the suburbs like twice, and the suburbs.
Yeah, whatever.
But the rest of it.
But it's not like they're downtown. They're just in like 2 buildings.
Yeah, well, and that's another big thing for me that I wrote down is that Mitch's world is bizarre. Because outside of the weird warehouses that he has his fights in, and outside of the club, everywhere else he goes or has anything to do with is some sort of weird post-apocalyptic rollerblade style world.
Later on, one of the waitresses gets killed, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The police think it's him.
One of the dancers, yeah.
Of course the police think it's him. Anybody that goes in his apartment thinks he's a serial killer.
I thought so, too.
Yeah.
Because, so his gimmick, that they also don't, it's a gimmick they don't really give a ton of lip service to, is that he fancies himself a photographer.
A videographer.
Oh, man. I'm tabling that for a second. Because that is such an insane wrinkle that it needs to be discussed on its own. But by being a photographer, that mostly means he walks up to unassuming people and just gets in their face and takes a picture.
It's only one night.
I've heard that before. I mean, it is always... Do you mind?
Did he just take a picture of you?
Bing.
And when we learn about it, it's a waitress at a real greasy spoon diner, who she becomes, I guess, his girlfriend during the movie.
Yeah, it was weird.
But mostly, as you alluded to earlier, he takes pictures of homeless people.
Like in their face.
These people all live around here. They inspire me in a funny way.
The images are just a result. It's the process that counts. Finding that moment of truth in someone. That part of life in a person.
No talking. No
Right.
talking. Just right in their face.
Right, so he's either photographing his dancers or homeless people. He doesn't seem like he's trying to, like, I don't know, help them or anything. He just wants a photograph. And then when you go into his apartment, it's like multiple TV monitors and film strips everywhere, like he's a murderer.
And it's not an apartment. It's like a parking garage where the walls are plastic sheets.
So his apartment is like this whole abandoned building.
Yeah.
Outside of it live 5 or 6 homeless dudes that he's on a first name basis with.
Right.
Including one who, in true, movie we don't get it fashion, sings opera.
You inspired him.
So he's got this whole abandoned building to himself. How about you let some of those guys move in with you, fella?
They don't want to.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. He's a total serial killer. That's all he is.
Well, and I'll give you another piece of evidence for the serial killer. He keeps his bathtub full.
Yeah, well, we know that he at least severely injures people.
Yeah.
And doesn't care.
Yeah, you mean as an underground fighter?
His best friend, he almost paralyzed.
Right.
Who shows up 2/3 of the way through the movie and becomes a huge part of it and then disappears just as quickly.
Right. Well, yeah, because he's got this pal that he injured during, I guess, training.
I don't know.
And this guy's works out to be his alibi for the killing of that dancer. But then we find out that the guy in the crutches, the friend, is actually now working for the bad guy boss so that they can set up Mitch for murder to make him fight.
Yep. You got it.
Because Mitch is stupid.
He doesn't want to fight.
He doesn't want to fight, but he's in with a bad crowd.
Many bad crowds.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, first, they show up and they beat him up, the bad guys, which is stupid because if you want him to fight, you probably shouldn't, try to break his arm.
Yeah, you ask him. Mm-hmm.
That's just stupid. Although, side note, during the scene where they beat Mitch up, the main bad guy, like the main henchman bad guy, main bad guy henchman, who, for you horror hounds out there, the star of Dawn of the Dead, he sits around outside during the fighting and plays saxophone.
His character name being Oliver.
Yeah. Yeah, Oliver's
great character.
Just wailing away on the sax. Presumably to drown out the noise of the punches.
To absolutely no one.
Right, to the couple of guys sleeping outside.
Right.
But also, it's another element of this movie, along with the club and the photography.
Yeah.
That seems like they're going for some real artsy-fartsy thing with this.
Well, but we do see Oliver playing in a jazz band at his jazz club later on.
Even so, it still seems like this movie is trying to be super artsy.
It's trying to be way too long, is what it's trying to be.
When all we want is to see some dudes get kicked in the face. Now, I'm looking at my notes. I thought I had something written down about that guy. Yep, okay. So, the guy in the crutches. Yep. His character's name is Chance.
Mm-hmm.
Chad, do you recognize Chance?
I feel like I do, but I can't place him.
What if he was wearing bike shorts?
Bike shorts?
What if he was enforcing the law?
You know what? The show that I watched, which I can't even remember the name of, I literally cannot tell you anything about it. I know I watched it. I can't tell you a single thing.
Chad was a big fan of the USA Network original series Pacific Blue.
Loved it. Can't tell you anything about it.
And this guy played Ed Tarlow on Pacific Blue, whoever the heck that is.
I could tell you more about Roller Jam and the weird one that was on Fox, the Gladiator one. I can't remember the name of it, but I could tell you more about that.
Well, heck, if we're going to talk USA Network originals of the 90s. It is all about weird science for me.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And a little bit Duckman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I watched that show religiously. Can't remember a single thing.
And this is like the second dude from one of our movies who's been on it.
They rode bicycles. Got it.
Yeah. It was like Baywatch, but with bikes.
Now, mind you, that's like that's like 6th grade for me.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
you were pretty young when you were
Yeah, I
watching
can't
it.
remember. Can't remember that.
What drew you to that? I have no idea.
Bicycles, man.
You could really
Cops.
relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at these guys cruising around on their bikes. Now, you mentioned it a second ago. We need to circle back to it.
Circle back.
We got to talk about the video aspect of this photography.
I don't understand it. I guess he's taking freeze frames, right?
Well, he takes a picture of the waitress lady, who I think her name's like Catherine or something like that.
I don't care what her name is. I don't care.
And she's, and she's like, oh, you take pictures? And he's like, no. Video prints.
Yeah, what?
I brought these for you to look at. Decide which ones you want me to blow up for you.
They're video prints. It's a new thing.
God, these are really beautiful.
Well, I Googled this and could find nothing. But he seems like he has a still camera that shoots, like you said, a single frame of video?
I don't know.
What? As if video is the resolution at which you want to photograph anybody.
Yeah. I truly did not understand, and I was not going to research it. So
No,
you did
it was
more than I did.
super weird. But by the end of the movie, he has gallery shows of it.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Because it's also worth noting that Catherine, who works at a dive bar, for
With her uncle.
I don't know, grandpa or uncle, whatever,
Something, I don't know.
who's a guy who's a character actor that you've seen in 57 sitcoms. She is also a student.
Maybe.
And she works at an art gallery as a tour guide. A fancy art gallery where Mitch shows up to straight up embarrass her.
What are you doing? Miles, what are you doing? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, while I experience temporary difficulty.
Somebody had just seen Beverly Hills Cop and wrote this movie.
Ugh. Ugh.
So here's a big question.
Yeah.
So this guy is a fighter,
Yeah.
and he gets beat up at least occasionally.
Yeah.
And so do other people, by the way. And no one ever has a mark on them in the whole movie.
No.
His mom gets beat up like crazy. She's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing that I was trying to get to earlier, which is that he's so stupid when he is refusing to fight because, like, of course they're going to go after his friends. And that doesn't even occur to this guy. You're
No.
dumb.
You're dumb.
Also,
whole
I
thing is
did
dumb.
not know that was his mom.
Yeah, I thought it was just some crazy old lady. Didn't get it.
I thought it was some crazy old lady that he had a physical relationship with.
No, I just thought it was like a niche audience of the weird club that he had, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, I thought she, like, was in charge of the dancers.
Oh, Miles, there you are. I've been waiting up for you.
Here as always.
I did not understand that. I can also tell you that there is a guy who works at the club named Bike,
Yep.
and he's the actual bouncer of the club.
Mm-hmm.
That dude was Vigo in Ghostbusters too.
Yes, he was. You're right.
Mm-hmm. And also one of the henchmen in Die Hard.
This was so long, this movie.
Yeah. I did not. Well, and Mitch is so unlikable.
Well, the only reason this movie like finished up getting made is because Lorenzo was an executive producer of it, so he clearly put some money in.
Right. Yeah.
Got it done.
This is some sort of weird passion project for Lorenzo that he decided he wanted to be, but he didn't want to be Stallone or Van Damme. He wanted to make some kind of art house movie.
Exactly.
That also has some kicking in it. And which, to say a good thing about the movie.
Oh.
Oliver, who we were talking about earlier.
Great. He was great.
His death is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When he gets thrown into a bank of electrical meters.
It's great.
And then sparks fly everywhere.
Yep, seen it a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
Worked, though.
Sure. But yeah, otherwise, this movie is unpleasant and long.
Yeah, I was going to say something. Let me think about it here.
Sure, you think about that.
I cannot remember. So that tells you how important it was, because it wasn't.
Right.
Because this movie's not important. Thank you very much for that.
Hey, it looked like it was going to be fun.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So in the very beginning, he's training in like a ring.
Yeah.
That we never see that again.
Right.
No, we do. Him and Chance training.
Yeah. Where that is, I don't know, but yeah.
But how weird is it? It's like supposedly like midnight. He's in there doing some Tai Chi.
Yeah.
What's on the wall? Do you remember what's on the wall when he's training?
I'm sorry.
It's like a big picture of Jesus with his hands raised. He's just training for Jesus.
It's more art.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. I don't know. It's such a weird blend of things to do a real, 80s video kickboxing type movie, but then combine it with, real highfalutin, art stuff, that it never works at all. And as a viewer, it's so frustrating that like hour and a half in between fights is so frustrating. A, because you want to see another fight. This is a movie that looks like there's going to be fighting in it.
You know what I've seen? I remember seeing that box in the movie stores.
I'm not surprised it was on the shelf.
This movie, from Oliver's standpoint, 100% better.
Oh, sure. But what I'm getting at is, like, you're waiting this hour and a half. He's gonna fight. There's no world where the end of this movie isn't him finally being like, okay, I'll fight. There's more fighting.
There's more fighting in Three Ninjas. Every single one of those movies, more fighting. Or Surf Ninjas, there's more fighting.
Oh, man. Like, I would imagine that there were more fights per episode of Renegade than there were in this whole movie.
There's more fights per episode of The Golden Girls than this movie.
More people get kicked in the face in the average episode of Quantum Leap than do in this movie.
Ziggy!
I don't know why Scott Bakula's go-to move was to kick dudes in the face, but it sure was.
Have you ever been kicked in the face?
You know what? I have not.
There is no coming back.
Have you been kicked in the face?
No, I don't want to be.
Well, I wouldn't imagine that you would.
Lorenzo does.
Well, that is all I have to say for Night of the Warrior. Do you have anything else?
Count me out. Nope.
All right. We're tapping out. We're tapping out on Night of the Warrior.
Ding, ding.
Well, thanks, I guess, for watching.
Go watch it, though.
We'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.